Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Alba, We're coming back at you with part 26 of What If Naruto Was Like Minato, otherwise known as Return of the Flash on Wattpad. And listen, just a few things to address here. First and foremost, Discord link in the description. Go join the Discord server. We have a good time over there. We have some, really great people. If you want to be, involved in the episodes, the videos, the thumbnails, if you have an intro you want me to use, just let me know down in the description. Second thing, shout out to one of you subs. Prayers up, I don't know what you believe in, but, praying for your safety and your recovery. I hope you make it home safely, and I hope you recover well. Genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I hope you get home safe. I hope whatever ailment is over you is, something fixable, something easily fixable, and that you can make it home to your peoples safe and sound. And then lastly, we are at 370 subscribers. We're on our way to 400. I'm genuinely, from the beginning, I know I've said genuinely a lot, but I just cannot express my genuine gratitude and appreciation enough. I'm just so thankful and so happy that people are enjoying the content, that they're enjoying the videos, and it actually makes me motivated to produce more. I'm sorry for not dropping a video yesterday. However, this one's going to drop tomorrow, so yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to some of the comments, to respond to some of the comments. If I didn't respond to your response to me, it's because I don't get notifications for all the comments. I only get notifications for the initial comment. I don't get notifications for the reply. I don't know how to change that, so I'm sorry for that. But just in the spirit of keeping this one as short-winded as possible, future set, cue the intro. Stared in amazement at what Naruto had managed to pull out of his sleeve this time. It was humongous, a dark blue fox and a white haori, with 7 tails swaying magnificently behind it. It was large enough to tower over the Tanuki. What is that? She uttered in disbelief. Was it one of Naruto's summons? I know I've read this part, by the way. I'm just rereading it. Sasuke was in a similar state. He was at a loss for words for whatever Naruto had managed to pull off. But whatever it was superior to even the Tanuki in size. It was clearly very strong. The 7 tails swaying had fully thrown him off. With the exchange of words that followed, Sasuke was able to deduce that this was a summon, which meant that Naruto was the holder of a summoning contract. He couldn't hear what Naruto said, but it was clearly a signal to start fighting, and both Temari and Sasuke then proceeded to watch, utterly dumbstruck and stupefied that the giant blue fox cleanly cut off one of Gaara's arms. Takeshi skidded away, destroying a group of trees in his wake, and not even noticing. The eyes narrowed as he clutched his blade tightly. His body is denser than I had thought. I nearly lost grip of my blade, he said as he put his katana back in his sheath. We'll have to be more careful now. This should be more provocation enough for him to let the Shukaku out. Get ready, Naruto. Yeah. Naruto nodded and braced himself. He carefully watched Gaara as he slowly reattached his arm. Once he had done so, he turned his head towards them. Interesting, he rumbled, causing both Takeshi and Naruto to tense. How interesting, Uzumaki Naruto. They watched as Gaara came out of the giant Tanuki's head in a ripple, his eyes completely white. Naruto supposed that was because his sight was in the Tanuki's eyes. He was slumped but slowly straightened up. Naruto was further on guard when he saw Gaara smiling a little. He knew what came next, but no matter how many times he saw Gaara smile, it was unnerving. You're strong, Uzumaki, Gaara said, and Naruto could hear anticipation in his voice. You've matched my every attack with yours, and were able to overpower me, if only for a little while. I haven't had this much fun in all my life. The last shout caused Naruto to feel a bit sad inside. He couldn't help but reflect that this was how he could have ended up. Gaara had been alienated most of his life. He could see that only Temari had attempted to make Gaara feel as close to family as possible, but he had ruthlessly pushed her away. They say that you can learn a lot about a person from fighting them, and it's true. Naruto had seen how Gaara fought. Gaara only fought for himself, and he thought that he had no precious people of his own. Well, Naruto was about to give him a smackdown for free, in addition to a reality check. Gaara formed the ram seal. As my gratitude towards you for keeping me entertained, I'll let my full power of the sand incarnation feigning sleep jutsu. For a moment, Gaara remained frozen in that position. mad eyes glaring into Naruto's prepared ones, and then he sagged, arms hanging limply as his head fell forward. "Here we go, Takeshi," Naruto whispered to the fox, who hummed low in agreement. Sasuke shivered with little fear. This wasn't the first time he had watched his teammate take on a stronger opponent than any of them, while he just cowered in the background. Looking up at Gaara's form, he took back his words. Gaara had a lot more chakra than what he estimated. To have enough chakra to form a construct like that, and he doubted even Naruto had that much chakra. Temari watched fearfully as Naruto tackled Gaara at his strongest. As confident as Naruto seemed, she doubted he could scrape victory when Gaara let Shukaku out to fight. But Naruto looked so sure of his victory, like he knew exactly what to do. And Temari simply had to trust he knew what he was doing. She couldn't bear to lose both Naruto and Gaara in the same day. "Yahoo! I'm finally free! Out and free!" The one-tailed monster opened its enormous jaw and high, crazy voice surprised Naruto a bit. He'd been imagining a voice similar to Kurama. Shukaku looked in front of him and cheered, coiling in preparation for an attack. "Oh, a guy for me to kill already? And it looks like you're related to that asshole Kyuubi. I'll make mincemeat out of you." Naruto winced as the Kyuubi roared in rage inside of him. He couldn't be sure if Shukaku was referring to him or Takeshi. Probably Takeshi, because of his tails. Takeshi gave a challenging grin, full of teeth. "Why don't you put those words to the test? Let's see how far you can get." Shukaku slapped his large bloated stomach. "Futan, Renkudan!" A bullet of air so compressed and pressurized came towards Takeshi. He surprised both Naruto and Shukaku when he deftly used one of his tails to smack away the air bullet at the right angle. He shifted its direction a bit, so instead of damaging the landscape, it went flying into the sky behind him. "My turn." Takeshi grinned before performing 3 hand seals, ending on Tiger. He took a deep breath. "Katon, Goen no Jutsu." Fire-style Great Flame technique. An enormous vortex of rapidly extending flames expelled from his mouth and rushed towards Shukaku. The heat from the flames was so hot that even Naruto, who was standing behind the wall of fire, felt it. The entire land of the forest beneath the majestic flame was scorched to ash. Naruto was willing to bet that the fire was hot enough to turn Shukaku's sand into glass. Shukaku, as soon as he saw the Herculean fire heading towards him, erected a huge wall of sand with his hands. He would have dodged it normally, but because of his bulk, he was slow to put himself to motion. It was better to have a hand turned to glass rather than any other part of his body. The flames hit the wall of sand, and for a full 5 seconds, Takeshi kept pumping chakra into his fire, making it hotter. He finally released the jutsu, and both Naruto and Takeshi grinned at the results. Temari gaped in speechlessness as a wall that Shukaku had erected with his hand had completely melted into hot molten liquid. The amount of firepower that summon seemed to have was completely absurd and ridiculous. Sasuke was also dumbstruck at the new development. The heat from the summon's fire had been hot enough to be felt over where they were standing. He had seen what had happened to the forest beneath it. He almost felt bad for anything standing in front. Shukaku winced as he saw his entire hand was now molten sand, which was slowly melting from the solid shape that he had formed it into. However, before he could do anything about it, he heard a shout, "Futun, kamikaze!" Wind-style divine wind. A huge amount of wind was expelled from Takeshi's mouth. It had no shape. It simply was wind blowing at great speeds. Since the sand construct was still melting, Shukaku didn't have enough time to detach himself from it. Takeshi took full advantage of it and chose to cool down the molten sand, transforming it into glass. Shukaku looked at his hand in disbelief. His whole right arm that was still attached to his body had become solid glass. It was surreal to see. Takeshi laughed. "Make mincemeat out of me? Take a look at yourself first." When, with speed that not even Naruto expected from him, he shot forward in 3 quick strides. Naruto was stunned at just how quickly Takeshi was moving. However, his next choice of attack almost had Naruto jumping for joy. Takeshi had reared back his fist and punched right at the strange-shaped wall of glass. Shukaku had no choice but to block the punch with his now wall of glass, formerly wall of sand. If he could get rid of the glass, he could form a new hand. Then he would kill that blasted fox. The glass shattered glass. It shattered into pieces, and the part of his arm that had become glass was almost up to his shoulder. So almost the entire arm shattered under the tremendous force of Takeshi's punch. Shukaku was now visibly panicking. He swung his good left arm, claws outstretched to swipe Takeshi's head off, but Takeshi was quick to counter. Takeshi grabbed the left arm with his right, followed by grabbing the swinging tail that came from Shukaku's right. Takeshi held them in a strong grip, not allowing Shukaku any chance to attack. Well, if you don't count the regenerated arm and the purple ball of no doubt highly destructive chakra that was now forming in front of Shukaku's mouth, aimed right into Takeshi's alarmed face. "Do it now, Naruto. Really don't want to be at the other end of that thing." Takeshi's warning had a high amount of urgency in it, and Naruto did not want to find out what that ball of chakra did, so he didn't hesitate to act. He directed his chakra into his legs and jumped high. With a grunt, he threw the kunai downwards, aiming it so it lodged right in front of a sleeping Gaara. As expected, Gaara-san came up to catch the kunai, but it was of no consequence. Naruto flashed right in front of Gaara, already in motion of an attack. He caught Gaara's jaw in an earth-shattering right hook, with so much force behind it that it not only sent Gaara leaning forward towards his right, but also knocked a tooth out of his mouth. "Wake up!" The punch sent waves of pain into Gaara's brain, forcing him to wake up. His eyes flew open in agony, just as Naruto sent the big ball of chakra harmlessly dispelling behind him. Shukaku yell soon followed. "No! I just came out!" Gaara was now wide awake, but now Naruto gave him no chance to attack with his sand. He used his left hand to roughly grab Gaara by the throat, bringing his face level to his. His fingertips on the right hand lit up with a Gojo? Something like that. For the third time in the day, he slapped him right onto Gaara's exposed stomach, the usage of chakra making the seal visible. Gaara gasped as all his breath left him, and he momentarily became unconscious. Naruto had successfully managed to cut Shukaku off from Gaara's unconscious body. The sand formed beneath them began to crumble, and just in seconds the entire body of sand collapsed, making them plummet onto the earth. Naruto and Gaara would have hit the ground with bone-breaking force if Naruto didn't manage to grab Gaara midair and flash to a kunai on the ground. He carefully set Gaara against a tree and was slightly taken aback when Gaara started to stir. He himself needed a day to wake up when Orochimaru had slapped him with the same seal. Perhaps it was that due to Gaara's strong connection to Shukaku, he already had large amount of Biju chakra in his system, which helped him wake. Naruto stood over Gaara as the redhead fully opened his eyes. Looking disoriented for a second, his eyes widened as he saw Naruto standing over him with an expressionless look on his face. He tried to shift further in the tree. "No! Stay away from me!" he cried weakly, far too weak to try and move his body. He watched with pure fear as Naruto knelt down. Naruto softened the look on his face. "That pain of being alone, your life not meaning anything to anyone, I know that pain all too well, Gaara." Gaara whispered in confusion. "How?" Naruto's lips twisted into a sad smile. "Because we are alike. I also house a beast like yours." Gaara's confusion, oh my gosh, bro, my beard is growing in. Gaara's expression twisted into one of shock. And then, for all people, why? Naruto put a hand on Gaara's tuft of hair. "Because I found people to care for, to protect, who loved me and acknowledged my existence. Those people told me as many times I needed to hear that they loved me. They told me that my purpose in this world was to protect. True power doesn't come from fighting for yourself. It comes when you have someone of your own to protect." Gaara, he ruffled the redhead. "You have people like that too. If you give them a chance, they would accept you. If you want, I'll even be your first friend." Gaara was unable to answer, just staring at Naruto with wide eyes. Naruto chuckled and removed his hand, standing up. They were here anyways. Temari and Kankuro arrived just beside Gaara. The difference was that Kankuro was injured and still on guard when standing in front of Naruto. He looked at Naruto with a wary expression, knowing that he stood no chance against a guy who still didn't look exhausted after an outright crushing Gaara. Temari, on the other hand, just stared at Naruto wide-eyed. He had delivered on his promise and had stopped Gaara without killing him. She was grateful to him for that. Naruto looked at her and winked. "I promised you, didn't I?" Temari smiled softly and nodded. She was grateful that Gaara hadn't been killed, along with the fact that Gaara hadn't managed to kill Naruto. She didn't know if she could ever repay Naruto for what he had done for her. A hand brushed against her leg, causing her to look down. "Temari, Kankuro, that's enough. Let's go home." Gaara ordered weakly. Kankuro gave a confused look to Temari, who just nodded to comply with the request. He picked Gaara up, supporting him with one hand around his waist and the other holding Gaara over his shoulders. "Kankuro," Temari said, causing the puppeteer to look at her. "Take Gaara and move. I'll catch up." She didn't once break contact with Naruto. Kankuro gave her a confused look. "But Temari, go, I said." Kankuro, wait, give me a second. Alexa, how much time's left?
You have 7 minutes and 10 seconds left on your time.
Yikes, this me drink some water real quick. I'm gonna have to shave. Sorry, these are the random thoughts that go through my head when I'm recording these videos. It's like, when I'm reading, I feel my face, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to shave again, you know? It's just, yeah. Alright, bet, let's go. Let's continue, sorry. Kankuro looked reluctant to leave her behind, but obeyed nevertheless. He took to the trees, and in a few moments they were just a dot in the distance. No doubt Kankuro would wait ahead for her to catch up, but he knew that Temari wanted him to be out of sight, and he wasn't stupid enough to disobey her. Naruto just kept his hands in his pocket as Temari stepped closer. Somehow he wasn't surprised at all when Temari suddenly grabbed him in a tight hug, her hands going around his waist and her head buried in his chest. Thank you, she was sobbing in his chest. Naruto slowly wrapped his own arms around her shoulders. He kissed her head softly, stroking her hair. It's okay, he whispered. He really didn't know what else he could do. Temari tightened her hold on him. Why would you go so far from me? Naruto breathed deeply, trying to decide on what to say. He and I, we're not much different. We both share a burden, and we've both been alone on our own lives. Me, not as much as him. I just couldn't bear to look at him like he was. He's what I would have been if I had no people of my own. He has people of his own. He has me and Kankuro. Naruto nodded sadly, but he chose to push you away, while I accepted the few people I had in my life. It's still not too late, Temari. You just have to show him what true love means, and he'll come to you. Give him another chance to accept. Temari slowly looked up to him with tears glistening in her eyes. Naruto slowly removed his arms from her. Stepping back, you should go now. Konoha Shinobi might be here any moment. Temari pursed her lips but nodded. She then turned away, about to jump to the trees, but she hesitated. Naruto waited for Temari to jump away, but she hesitated. Temari? He never finished his sentence, for a pair of lips came to softly rest on his own. Naruto looked shocked only for a moment, but before he could wrap his arms around her, Temari separated and turned away, taking to the trees. Naruto's hand came to rub on his lips, feeling the taste of hers. He smiled. There was something else in that kiss, something that promised a better future. Still smiling, he turned around, only to freeze on spotting Sasuke, who was carrying Sakura in a piggyback. Sasuke looked extremely shocked and confused. He didn't know what or how to make any sense of this. What was that? Naruto panicked for a second, but then got a grip. A kiss? What else could it be? He turned around to go and gather his kunai, but Sasuke stopped him. No. I mean, why did she kiss you? Naruto turned around with a frown. I don't know what's going on in her head, but what the hell are you doing here? Weren't you supposed to take Sakura and head back to safety? This time Sasuke surprised Naruto by looking abashed of all things. He muttered something unintelligible, causing Naruto to raise an eyebrow. Sorry, couldn't hear you. Come again? I said I couldn't leave you behind, okay? Sasuke snapped, a hint of red on his cheeks. Naruto snorted and walked past the boy. It's rare to see you worry about someone else, but don't worry about me. As long as I have that kunai with you, I can flash to you anytime. Naruto suspected Sasuke had taken the kunai not so Naruto could flash to him, but to decipher the secrets behind it. Sasuke was an idiot. He obviously had noticed it in the fight with Gaara, what he used the kunai for, and he wanted the jutsu for himself. Too bad for Naruto. In his notes, Minato had written down that he had taken the jutsu to levels that were seemingly impossible. He developed it so far that, in fact, it almost became a sort of artificial bloodline. A jutsu that could only be used by someone of his blood. That too, counting in all the Fuin jutsu processes that involve locking your chakra at each step. Sasuke mentally flinched at that. He forgot to take into account that Naruto could sense all of his kunai. He had to divert the topic fast before Naruto asked him to give it back. Why'd you let them go? Now Sasuke caught Naruto's attention as he picked the last of his Hiraishin kunai scattered on the ground. He slowly turned to face Sasuke. He opened his mouth to explain, but stopped at the sudden rush of chakra in his system, as well as memories. What the hell? Sasuke watched curiously as Naruto's head snapped towards the direction of the stadium, a classic expression of what the hell on his face. What is it? Naruto turned to face Sasuke, a sense of urgency on his face that wasn't there before. You need to get back to Kakashi-sensei right now. He stepped forward, a hand outstretched, probably to send him to Kakashi. Sasuke stepped back. Whoa, you're not sending me back like that, not until you tell me why. Naruto gritted his teeth as memories flowed in his mind. He didn't have time for this. I can't tell you now, because someone close to me is in danger. How about this? I'll tell you once the invasion's over. You promise me right now that you won't tell a soul about this until I do so. Deal? Sasuke thought it over in a bit and said, "All right, but you better tell." He wasn't allowed to finish as Naruto put his hand on his forehead and forcefully sent him back to where Kakashi was. He might have finished the enemies in the stadium now. He flashed and within 10 seconds he had gathered every kunai that was scattered in the area. After suspecting the clearing once more, he flashed again. "Hold on, GG, I'm coming." I feel like this is a good spot to end the video off. Like, I feel like this is where I kind of want to end it. 18 minutes in. You guys always tell me that you like the longer videos. The problem is, the shorter videos are easier for me to record, and you know, like, it just doesn't take as long. Literally, the time. I record these in one burst. If I recorded these over the course of many jump cuts or something, then that's different, you know? Then I could like record it throughout the day. That would also take time throughout my day. This is easier for me because it's like 4 in the morning right now. I could just sit down 20 minutes, 30 minutes, record the video, edit it later, upload it later. That's the thing. So the longer videos are super hard to get. Like, sorry guys, but they are. So, but I'll do you a favor. If this video hits 75 likes, and I know you can do that. You guys have almost hit 100 before. If this video can hit 75 likes, I'll drop a longer part. Like, I'm talking like hour-long part for the next one. All right? 75 likes, hour-long part. But yeah, this is going to be it for me. Discord link in the description. Huge shout out to all the people that have helped with the thumbnails, the video ideas, or the intros. Genuinely appreciate them. I'm super thankful. Join the Discord. We have fun over there. We give out roles. We do a lot of really cool things. You can get memes. It's just like a fun time. Just join it. Like, comment, subscribe. I respond to all comments, heart all comments when I see them. I genuinely appreciate them. Thank you guys very much. And this is your boy, the Anime Ambu, and I am out. Deuces.